Hi, my name is Holly Rilinger. I'm a health and wellness coach in New York City and the creator of Lifted, and this is Get Fit on livestrong.com. Today I have a mobility routine, and I know mobility is not everybody's favorite workout. As a former pro athlete and as a coach, I see people getting injured all the time because of lack of mobility. So take a little bit of time out of your day and try to make this mobility routine a priority. You can do a mobility routine every single day if you'd like to. You actually cannot do a mobility routine too much. So my suggestion is do it at a very minimum of twice a week. But if you're feeling tight, if you're feeling sore from the day before, this is always a good routine to add to your workout schedule. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna start today with the foam roller. And if you don't know what this is, I'm surprised. We've heard a lot about this over the past few years. And what foam rolling does is it helps roll out a tissue in our body called the myofascia. So this is a form of self-massage, so we should be pretty excited about that if we're just gonna get a massage before our workouts. So I'm gonna take you through a few key body parts that are gonna help you stay mobile in your workouts. So we're gonna start with the IT band today. This is a notoriously painful area of the body. So I'm gonna take you through a couple variations in case it gets to be a little bit too painful, but this is going to help keep your knees healthy. And trust me, your knees need to be with you for the rest of your life. So we're gonna take this down to the ground. For most of these mobility exercises, we're gonna do both sides. So once we do it on one side, we're gonna flip and we're gonna do it on the other side. So your IT band goes from your knee all the way up to your hip. So we're gonna be rolling on the outsides of our legs here. So we're gonna spend about 60 seconds on here. I'm gonna start at the very base, just above my knee. I'm gonna take my other foot so I can monitor this pressure, and I have my leg extended, and I'm rolling from my hip all the way down to my kneecap. All right, now, if I can manage this amount of pressure, you can go ahead and stack your feet. This is where I see people moan and groan and writhe in pain if it's tight. But trust me, the more you do this, the easier it gets. And you can notice here too, I have to use a lot of upper body strength and core strength just to balance myself on here. So this mobility workout is also gonna be just a regular workout as well. So don't be fooled by the word mobility. We're gonna move around a lot today. So remember, if this is too painful, just take that other foot, monitor the amount of pressure that you have. 60 seconds on each side. Ooh, I can tell I've not been foam rolling enough lately. And then we're gonna switch to the other side. So simply go to the other side. Same thing here. It's not uncommon for one side to feel completely different than the other side. We're not completely symmetrical beings. We have strengths on one side of the body, weaknesses on the other side of the body. This side doesn't feel quite as bad to me. The other one was pretty tight. And remember, one more time, monitoring my amount of pressure I get by putting that foot on the ground, and I'm using my upper body to support my pressure on this foam roller as well. So got about 15 more seconds on this side. Also, if you feel a spot that's really tender, just stop and get a little bit more pressure right in there. What this is doing is freeing up what we call lesions on this fascia, and that ends up restricting our range of motion. So once we do this, we're able to move more freely through our ranges of motions. All right, so we got that one done. Let's move to another painful part of the body, the glutes. So what we have in our body are trigger points. Trigger points are notorious spots in our body where we get really tight, and once we loosen up that area of the fascia, again, we can move more freely. So I'm gonna sit on this side of my glute. So I'm on my right glute here. I'm gonna cross my right leg over my left knee. That opens up that glute medius, that's part of your glutes here. And I'm just gonna find that trigger spot. You'll know it when you feel it. Every time I look at a client, they're like, oh yeah, that's it. So monitoring here, once I find that it's a really small range of motion, I just kind of dig into that. It'll kind of spasm a little bit at the beginning, and then it'll loosen up, and then you're good to go. All right, we're gonna do that same thing on the other side of the body. And this might feel like a bit of a workout for you. Just balancing on this foam roller, getting some mobility through your hip, just crossing your leg over the other one. Just finding that trigger point, breathing, don't hold your breath here. Remember, we're focusing on being mindful throughout these workouts. So really focus on, what am I feeling? How is this feeling? Rather than drifting off into the rest of your day. Notice that point where it just loosens up, and then we are good to go. That's it, 2 spots. I could take you through 15 spots on the body with this, but this is a really good start with the foam roller. Okay, moving to our T-spine. That is a word for thoracic spine. This is the part of your back, the middle of your back. It is a use it or lose it situation. You see sometimes older people who can't turn and look around. That's not us. We're gonna be able to move and turn throughout our whole life here, but we've got to keep it well mobile, okay? So hands and knees on the ground here. I'm on all fours. I have my toes tucked under me. And I'm gonna take my right hand behind my neck. I'm gonna take my elbow, touch my left hand on the mat there, and then I'm gonna look up to the sky through that elbow. So I'm getting mobility through my spine, my thoracic spine. I'm gonna inhale down, I'm gonna exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. I suggest looking at a spot on the ceiling, and then each time you go up, seeing if you can look just a little bit further each time as you turn and look up. Now I'm saying maybe a minute on this side. You could also say, I'm gonna do 10 on the right, 10 on the left. Already I'm feeling a lot more mobility. I'm looking a little bit further on the ceiling with each one. I'm gonna get one more. Nice, and let's go to the other side. I'll just turn around so you can see this side as well. I got a nice strong position here. My knees aren't together where I'm gonna feel wobbly, so I've got a really strong foundation. Taking my other hand behind my head, looking up. Again, be mindful of the differences in your body. Does one side feel a lot more tight to the other? That's gonna give you some insight into how you move, or maybe where you need to work hard on different parts of your body. Increasing that mobility. When we're young, we're teenagers, we're in our early 20s, it's very easy to stay mobile, but if you start working on your mobility and you continue through your lifetime, it won't be as difficult as we get older. All right, I'm feeling more limber. I've got a lot more space in my spine here. I'm feeling like I'm really warming up. So now I'm gonna go to one more T-spine, thoracic spine, mobility movement. And this is one of my favorites because it feels so good. So if you're feeling tight in your lower back, do this each morning. This is something you can get into, just do for 60 seconds and you're gonna feel great throughout the whole day. It doesn't have to be part of a workout. You can take any of these movements that feel great and you can do them in your regular life. All right, I got my hands out wide. They're gonna be on the ground. I'm gonna bend both knees. It's called windshield wipers. So we're gonna windshield wiper our legs from one side to the other side. I'm gonna drop my knees to my left side and I'm gonna look back, reaching through my right arm here. Feel that twist through my spine, feels really nice. I'm gonna inhale, switch directions, windshield wiper it over, look on the other side. Remember, inhale, exhale. It's really easy to hold our breath when things are challenging or when things are different. But this is, if you're lucky, you'll get an adjustment through your spine and get a nice pop. Where you feel your back just loosen up. Oh, I just got one, that was glorious. All right, so spend as much time as you want on that one. I'm just gonna do 60 seconds. I could do it all day here. All right, now we're gonna stand up. We're gonna start to move through our hip flexors. Now, if you sit a lot, those hip flexors get tight. Your hip flexors connect in your lower back. So if you're having lower back pain, you don't know why, it might be because you're sitting all day long. So we're gonna do something to loosen up those hip flexors. You're gonna take a giant step forward, a nice lunge. My back knee isn't quite on the ground. And then I'm gonna reach over with whatever leg is on behind me, and I'm gonna feel that great stretch all the way through this side body of mine. All right, I'm gonna release, hands on my hip. I'm gonna take that step back. That might be the hardest part of the move for you. And then I'm gonna take a giant step on the other side. Remember, whatever knee is back, I'm stretching through my hip here, and I'm gonna reach up and really stretch through that body. If you spin a lot too, those hip flexors get really tight. So notice I'm not just breezing through this. I'm not step, step, go, 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 go. I'm taking my time so I can really feel that stretch on each side of my body. Step forward, whatever hips back, stretch, reach. It's a balancing act too. Very similar to yoga. You wanna come out of the movements as gracefully as you went into it. Let's get one more time right here. Big lunge forward. If you're having trouble with your balance too, go ahead, take it back a notch. You can place that knee on the ground. Just say, oh, I just can't balance, Holly, that's too hard for me. I can't do that exercise. Well, then let's take it back a step there. Hands on your hips, and then you come back to that standing position. That felt really nice. I hope that felt good for you too. All right, speaking of sitting a lot, looking at screens, we're all in this closed out position, screens, computers. So we gotta come from here, we gotta get a little bit more of this in our life. Actually, everybody on that side of the camera just went like this, if you could have seen what I've seen here while we're filming here. All right, YTWs, 3 movements, and they're exactly like they sound. Our Ys, we're gonna look at the corners of the room. I got a corner there, I got a corner here. I'm gonna bend over. I'm gonna take my thumbs up. I'm gonna keep my head down so my spine is in a neutral position here, so I'm not cranking my neck up. Put my spine where it's meant to be. I'm gonna take my thumbs, I'm gonna keep my shoulders away from my ears, and I'm gonna raise my arms up. So right now, I am working on mobility and strength in my postural muscles. This is a great exercise to do if you're someone that sits a lot, looks at a computer a lot. You'll notice this can become very exhausting just because it's not a muscle we use a lot. You could also put some small weights in your hands, some 1s, some 2s. So there's the Y. You can see why it's called Y. And now we're gonna do a T. Thumbs will go to the outsides of the room. We're gonna bend over at the waist, same thing, my head's down, I'm not cranking my neck up. I'm gonna take that T. I'm trying to pull my shoulder blades together while I do that. Keeping my shoulders away from my ears so I'm not shrugging my shoulders. And I'm pulling my scapula together, those shoulder blades together. All right, that's 2. Now for the W. Gets a little bit more tricky here, so watch me. I'm gonna go a little bit at a diagonal so you can see me better. Now my thumbs are in. Bending at the waist. I'm gonna pull my elbows up. I'm gonna rotate them. I'm gonna press them overhead. I'm gonna pull them back. I'm gonna rotate it back down and thumbs back down. I know what you're thinking, that is not a W, is it? Well, it's some semblance of a W. So thumbs together, elbows up, rotate, push forward, drive the elbows back, rotate, and back down. Let's just do it one more time. Elbows up, shoulders away from my ears, rotate, get nice rotation through that shoulder joint, press, pull, rotate, and down. If you're not used to doing that, you're gonna feel all this tension back here, but we're strengthening and we're expanding through the chest. So there's your mobility and there's your strength on the back side of your body. Okay, standing shoulder stretch, we really just open up the shoulders a lot, so this is just kind of icing on the cake here. I also like to call these angel drills, so scapula angels. We're gonna take our elbows together and we're going to pull them up, rotate them around and down. So it's like snow angels, but for your shoulder blades. So you're working those shoulders, those angel wings, and you're going around in a circle. So if you can see my back here, I'm working those shoulders in all directions. The shoulder is a ball and socket joint, so we're letting it go. And then we're just gonna reverse that direction. Now we're gonna go up and down. Open, stretching my chest, up and down, like that. All right, shake it out, shake it out. We got about 60 seconds on that. We don't need more, so 30 seconds one direction, 30 seconds the other direction. Now let's work on a little bit of mobility through the hamstrings. If you're like me, I have tight hamstrings. A lot of people who are athletic do a lot of powerful movements, are tight in the hamstrings, so let's work on increasing that mobility here. We're gonna stand at the end of the mat. This is gonna look exactly how it sounds. It's an inchworm. I'm gonna reach up. I'm gonna exhale, fold over, take my hands to the ground. I'm gonna keep my legs as straight as possible, as long as possible. I'm gonna walk out into a high plank. Right here, I got my shoulders stabilizing me, my core's engaged, and I'm gonna tiptoe my toes in like an inchworm, keeping my legs as straight as possible. I'm doing all right for tight hamstrings. And then come up, inhale, turn around, exhale. I'm gonna show you what it's gonna look for some of you, like for some of you if you have tight hamstrings. You might have to bend the knees, totally okay. I'll meet you where you are. And if you have really tight hamstrings, you might only be able to keep your legs straight to here, and then you're gonna start to bend the knees. So again, your intention is straight legs as long as possible. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, exhale, fold over, drop the head, walk it out. Start to take the weight of your body in your hands. Feel that nice high plank, strong core, strong shoulders. Tiptoe in. I feel that stretch in my hamstring, feels so good. Inhale up, exhale, fold over. Last one here. Drop the head, walk it out with me. High plank, feeling good. I'm not rushing through any of this, I'm taking my time. That's the great thing about this mobility routine. We have time for intensity and strength later, but for now, just take your time in those movements. All right, one of my favorites now, scorpion, a lying scorpion. Scorpion, it's the most fun of all the exercises. I don't know, the windshield wiper reach might have been a fun name as well, but scorpion, working on our lower back now, so our lumbar spine. We're gonna go to the ground here. Now, as you can imagine, this is as it sounds. We're gonna use a scorpion tail. Take my hands out, I'm gonna look at my right hand. Whichever way I'm looking, I'm gonna take that same leg, take my scorpion tail over my body, try to touch my toe on the ground. You may not be able to get there, this might be you. That's fine, just let gravity kind of pull and open that spine there. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Turning my head, looking at my left hand now, taking my leg up off the ground, letting gravity take over, pulling that toe to the ground. Oh, this feels so good. Take a deep breath. You might notice if this is new to your body likes to tense up. See if you can relax into it a little bit. The more you can relax into this, the more you're gonna be able to stretch through. So back to my right side, looking at my right hand, letting gravity take over, letting that toe reach for the ground. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. Doesn't really matter. It's not success if it does. It's not a failure if it doesn't. Right back down. Let's do it one more time. Remember, breathe, breathe, breathe. Try not to hold your breath. Inhale, looking at my left hand. Left foot comes up, reaching with my scorpion tail, feeling that stretch through my lumbar spine. Exhaling, coming back, pushing yourself up here, just a little bit extra here. I like to always go back into a child's pose. Finish it up here. Feel all that I've just done with my body. You know, my fiance teaches yoga and she's always like, just play with your body and see what you can do. When we make it a competition and we look at things as success and failure, it's not fun to do things that we're not good at. But if you think of it as just playing and seeing where you can go, then it can be a little bit more fun. It can be a little bit more interesting. So that's our mobility workout. We worked it from head to toe. We got our shoulders, we got our hip flexors, we got our hamstrings. You should feel nice and loose here. My hope is that when you do that a few times, you realize I feel better just in life. I feel better just walking out into my day there. It doesn't just have to be for a workout. So if you wake up a little tight in the morning, it doesn't take you long. It takes you maybe 10, 15 minutes, and you're also doing your body good for longevity. We all wanna live long lives, live strong, and be mobile. So thank you for joining me on today's mobility workout. If you want more videos like this, then subscribe below.